Hi everyone, this is my video about what's wrong with Tomb Raider from 2018, not the animated series on Netflix that just came out. I'll probably do a video. I stopped halfway through. It was like episode 4 and they revealed her ex-girlfriend or love interest, and it's just like, God, this is so Netflix from 2019 to have the lead have a lesbian lover. So I was like, took a break. But I like the animation, and the adventure scenes were cool, so I might go finish it. But anyway, I got bothered and I quit in the middle of that show, but then I was like, maybe I'll go watch that 2018 Tomb Raider movie. Now, I was actually kind of obsessed with this movie when it was announced because they put out this weird ass poster that made her look like a velociraptor. And it was just like a bad Photoshop. But like, there was heavy publicity for this, and this was the image they used for it, and it looks so strange. So I believe they say there was like an alternate version of it. They eventually fixed it, but it was like way late. So, the movie came out in 2018, and it didn't do great with ratings, but it did twice as good as the Angelina Jolie movies. Oh, before I start, Alien Romulus, they are doing a VHS tape limited edition. That is so cool. I wish I had a VCR still. I love that. I love that idea. But anyway, so I watched it and it's pretty good. It's definitely better than the poster. So this is a soft reboot based on the soft rebooted games at the time, from what I've heard. It's very much a standalone. You don't need to have played the video games or really know much. I found this to be a good movie, but it was good in the, like, I would watch this on a plane, or I was even thinking about when I was on active duty. Like, base theaters are typically very, very cheap. And, you know, if you're in the middle of nowhere or on an island, kind of the only thing to do sometimes. So this is the type of movie I definitely would have seen in the base theater or on a plane. Would I have gone to see it at the movie theater and felt like I got a good deal? It's just not the type of thing. There would need to be something else. So it's an origin of Lara Croft. She starts off and she's a bicycle messenger in London, doing things that you can do. It's funny. Later, she kind of turns into a superhero, but like when it starts, it's funny for like the first 30 minutes or so. She just does stuff that like 90% of people can do. Like they're like, we're gonna have a race through the streets of London, and then she just kind of just rides. Sometimes she slaloms between cars, but not that much and not that fast, and the cars aren't fast, and it's like, do you want to maybe like speed up this footage? Because I can do all of this stuff like without stretching. Even she goes to I forget where it is. I forget if it's Taiwan or China or where it is, but she's in Asia. And at one point she's on the docks and she's like chasing people. But she's just kind of like running at a reasonable pace. And at one point they get onto a boat and then there's like 5 feet distance and she stops. And I'm like, I'm 51 and I can make that leap. I can cross that distance. I don't need to stretch first. Like, so the first 30 minutes she just kind of does stuff that everyone can do, and you're like, ooh. But then she gets some clues. There's a pretty good scene at sea, and then she ends up on an island, and she's actually on the island for more than half of the movie, which I'm not sure if that ever really got into the advertising. Usually in adventures like this, you know, Indiana Jones, you go from place to place to place to place. It's kind of rare when you just like place to place to, and this is the last place we're going to be, and we're going to be here for an hour. And it's like, oh, that's not usually the pace of this type of movie. So she essentially becomes enslaved. And how do I say this? There's a weird thing in adventure movies where, you know, people are kind of superhuman, and but also like they're still human. So like if you remember that movie No Escape, from the early 90s. Like a guy ends up on an island with all guys, and I'm just like, so they're just all raping each other, right? So at one point she ends up in this slave gang as like the only woman on an island, and I'm just like, this is really tense because she's probably going to get raped. But like that's just not a factor at all. Even though she's got like this tight shirt, and one of the interesting things is the villain, Walter Goggins. He is essentially in the same position. He is also a slave. He's just the boss, the overseer. He's been on this island for 7 years and trying to find this, ancient, a woman, a mummy essentially, that can also be used as a weapon. And so, spoiler, it's a good movie. Go see it. It's good. Spoiler, Laura's father is also on the island, and he's been sending them to the wrong spots on the island to waste their time for 7 years. That's dedication. So Laura is there. She meets up with her father she hasn't seen in like 15 years. And it's I think I should actually upgrade because I'm sounding like I just barely liked it. And I did like it. It's just it's a little wonky. Like I said, the first 30 minutes she just kind of does normal things. And then she gets to the island and there's this weird tension, at least for me, that isn't actually in the script or even in the subtext. But basically she frees some of the slaves, but also gets captured, and they use her father as a hostage, and then they actually do some tomb raiding. It's, again, with Indiana Jones, there would be like tomb raiding in the beginning, something similar to tomb raiding in the middle, and then a lot of tomb raiding at the end. This one, they're just like bicycles, and then actually it's probably, at the end, it's like 30-40 minutes of just solid tomb raiding. And that stuff is good. It was fun. It was interesting. One of the things I like about this is there's some real emotion, like the reunion with her father. It was very real from both of them. And even at one point she kills a guy, and it's not like in a cool action movie way. It's like in this really grimy, real type of way to kill someone. And then she's just kind of like just dealing with that. Good stunts, good cinematography, shot. I was gonna say on location, but what does that mean? Like, every place is a location. They went to, I think they filmed it in South Africa. It's supposed to be an island in like the South China Sea or something like that. But it was good. At the end, it does feel tacked on that there's a conspiracy and they're kind of setting up sequel. It's always sad when a movie that's good but just didn't make enough money, they're clearly not just setting up a sequel but several sequels, and then it just never happens. So they set up a sequel with this kind of Illuminati group, and I thought they did that fairly well. But yeah, it's a good movie. I really think, because man, this poster, not the one for the Heat, this weird ass poster was freaking everywhere, and nobody looked at that and said that looks cool. Like, even if you couldn't tell how it was off, like, it's just, oh my god. And they found a picture of her in essentially the same pose, and she's got a normal neck. And this is just that's a velociraptor, or like one of those human xenomorph hybrids, like Alien Romulus, which is on VHS. At the end, probably the worst part of it was there's this human xeno hybrid, and he just looks stupid. Like, that's what she looks like, some sort of dinosaur woman. But yeah, a good solid show. I do hear a little bit of like a hesitation in my voice. Like I said, there's a couple of weird things, and it could have been more fun. Obviously, there was a trend for about, I guess 15 years of like, let's do Hero, but let's do the realistic version. And, let's go ahead and wrap that up. Like, we don't need a realistic version of everything. In fact, that's become the standard. It's like, oh, we got to do a realistic version of every single hero. But if they do a live action which the anime is not getting good reviews. So I think there was supposed to be a live action show. I don't think that's happening. But if they do this a third or fourth time, counting the anime, I would definitely go for adventure, fun over realism and velociraptor necks. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.